Namaste. This is Bones. We found her in a dustbin. She was nearly dead. And she was just Bones when we found her. Though really now we should call her Fatu. Namaste. I'm going to try very simply in 5 minutes to explain a little bit about your brain because it seems the attention span of humans has become very, very little. Our brain has a hippocampus, which if you think of it as like your hard drive, and it has a limbic system, which is think of it as your emotional brain. That sits on top of an animal brain. Our animal brainstem is the same as it is in animals, which is why when we sometimes say that person behaves like an animal, it might be because literally they have the same brain as the animal. And yes, all of our instincts, our instinct to eat, our instinct to sleep, to have sex, all of them are survival instincts that exist in our animal brain. But we're going to have a talk about the animal brain another day and its relationship to sex, because sex has become almost like the foundation of our society these days. But let's go back to our hippocampus and our limbic brain. In one of the other talks, I spoke about how everything you expose yourself to gets downloaded into your hard drive, which is your hippocampus. All your experiences and the emotions you attach to those experiences are into your limbic brain. These are the two parts of your brain that really define your experience of the world. So I'm going to give you probably an example many of you have maybe gone through. Let's say that your partner sends you a message and says they're going to be late from work. And you think, okay, great, no problem. And then later on Instagram, you see a photo of them at a bar with somebody else. Now, if you are in your reactive sympathetic nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system is our fight, flight, and free system, which is part of our animal brain, which originally was in us for survival. We were only supposed to sit in that stress system when we were being chased by a bear, a hippopotamus, a shark, and we were trying to survive. Because when we're in that system, all of our blood goes to our extremities, our eyes dilate, all of our systems start to shut down because we need blood in our muscles to run, to fight, to freeze. And we weren't supposed to sit in it all the time. The other time we were supposed to sit in our sympathetic system was when we were releasing adrenaline for creative purposes. But today, in today's world, we tend to sit in that system all the time. So let's say you see this Instagram picture, you're in your sympathetic system because now you wear that sheriff's badge of stress, believing that if you're not stressed and doing something, you're not productive, because we've taught to sit in our calm system is lazy. Not true. We'll get to that another day. So you're in your stress system, you see this picture. Because you are not in your calm system and able to respond to it and look at that picture and think, okay, maybe they left early, maybe a friend called them, and that picture happens to be them with someone of the opposite sex. And you don't have the ability to respond to it, to look at it, to be aware of the different perspectives, the different options. No, because you're in your stress system and you're really reactive. And then what happens is you go into your mind, and your mind is going to go into your hippocampus, and it's going to determine how you react to that picture by everything you've put in it. So let's say for the last couple of days you've been watching TV shows or movies where there's a lot of infidelity, cheating, jealousy, where the problem is never you in this movie, but it's the other person, it's the person that's at the bar. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to go down that hippocampus. That hippocampus is going to grab onto those experiences, those images that you have downloaded into your head, and you're immediately going to look at that picture and think he's cheating, and you're going to get really angry, and you're probably going to send them a text and going, what are you doing? I thought you were not going to go home, and I've seen a picture of you, and it's just going to explode. And then maybe that partner comes home and they have a really logical explanation, but not before you've had a massive fight. And as a result of that fight and your reaction and everything, the person you've harmed the most is you, because you've moved into anger, insecurity, jealousy. Then when they come home, you shout. So your body goes into trauma and stress. And all because you didn't have the ability to respond, and all because of what you downloaded in your head. Because your hippocampus doesn't know the difference between fact, fiction, and truth. And so when you're tired, you're just going to respond with what is being put into your head. And it's not going to be able to tell you the truth. Or you're going to move into your emotional system. And when you see something like that, something maybe that has happened to you in the past like that, and you've attached an emotion to it, and not a good emotion, that's how you're going to react. So understand your brain. If you think you're just listening to music and you're not listening to the words and it's not really having an impact, it's having an impact on you. So if you're listening to songs that are like, hey, bitch, I'm gonna like bust a cap in your ass, or you're a hoe, or all of those kind of rap musics, or music that is always like, I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna tell her, all about focusing on the other person and blaming them. And if you're listening and watching that all the time, and violence and fear and infidelity, no matter what you experience in the world, as it starts to move through you, that's how you're going to experience it. You're going to experience it based on every single thing you've put in your head. So if you don't want to experience your world like that, change what you put in your mind. And that's what we talk about in yoga when we talk about awareness. One of the largest aspects of awareness is being present. And what we mean by being present is when I am present in any part of my day, I'm not only present in the sense of I am aware of everything around me. I'm aware of the sky, the birds, the oceans, the ground, the flowers, but I'm also aware of what is going on in my mind. So if I'm speaking to someone, I'm not only aware of what they're saying, but I'm aware of how I'm reacting to it, how I'm responding to it, what thoughts are coming up in my mind. And then where are those thoughts coming from? Because you're never ever truly going to understand you and your experience of this world unless you sit in awareness. And when you sit in awareness, you have to be present to be in awareness, because you need to be aware of how you are responding or reacting to everything around you, and why you are responding and reacting that way, and what is the source of that thought that led to that response and that reaction. Where did it come from? Did it come from a movie? Did it come from music? Did it come from your parents? Did it come from friends? Did it come from social media? Did it come from anywhere else but yourself, your true self, your consciousness, the purity that exists within you? Probably. I'd say pretty much 99% of your reaction to the world and your experience of it has been defined by something external to you that you're not even aware of. So sit in awareness. Understand your mind. Understand your body. And when you start to sit in awareness, you will begin to understand the source of your experiences. So much of it has been defined by something external to you. Because you and I and 5 other people could go to the exact same event, but at the end of it, if you and I and the 5 other people have a conversation, our experience of that exact same event will be completely different. And we will have experienced it differently based on our filters, based what's within us, based on our likes, our dislikes, our attachments, our egos, all of it. And then I change all of that. I go to the same event a year from now. My experience of it is completely different because I've changed what's within. So be aware, be present. Stop putting all that stuff in your head. Define what you put in your head. Define who you want to be. Define the way you want to move through this life and how you want to experience it. Namaste.